Sometimes you need defeat in order to have victory. And I can tell you why. But first, I have a passage for you. And this is in the book of Judges. Now, to give you a little bit of background context on the book of Judges, the book of Judges is basically how Israel kept turning away from God and then turning back to God. And God had appointed judges at that time to judge over Israel during this appointed time. And the Israelites still beckoning for a king. Even though Samuel told them that your king will be oppressive, they still didn't listen. And that's when King Saul, the first king of Israel, came in. And of course, he was an oppressive king. Now, that obviously continues from the book of Samuel. But bear with me here because this passage is pretty chunky, but I'm going to try my best to read through it as efficiently as possible. And this is from the book of Judges, chapter 20, verses 18 through 36. And it says, "Then the people of Israel arose and went up to Bethel and inquired of God, who shall go up first for us to fight against the people of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. Then the people of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. The men of Israel went out to fight against Benjamin, and the men of Israel drew up the battle line against them at Gibeah. The people of Benjamin came out of Gibeah and destroyed on that day 22,000 men of Israel. But the people, the men of Israel, took courage and again formed the battle line in the same place where they had formed it on the first day. And the people of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until the evening. And they inquired of the Lord, shall we again draw up near to fight against our brothers, the people of Benjamin? And the Lord said, go up against them. So the people of Israel came near against the people of Benjamin the second day. And Benjamin went up against them out of Gibeah at the second day and destroyed 18,000 men of the people of Israel. All these were men who drew the sword. Then all the people of Israel, the whole army, went up and came to Bethel and wept. They sat there before the Lord and fasted that day until evening and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And the people of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, ministered before in those days, saying, shall we go out once more to battle against our brothers, the people of Benjamin, or shall we cease? And the Lord said, go up, for tomorrow I will give them into your hand. So Israel set men in ambush around Gibeah, and the people of Israel went up against the people of Benjamin on the third day and set themselves in array against Gibeah, as at other times. And the people of Benjamin went out against the people and were drawn away from the city. And as at other times, they began to strike and kill some of the people in the highways, one of which goes up to Bethel and the other to Gibeah. And in the opening country, about 30 men of Israel. And the people of Benjamin said, they are routed before us, as at the first. But the people of Israel said, let us flee and draw them away from the city of the highways. And all the men of Israel rose up out of their place and set themselves in array at Baal Tamar. And the men of Israel who were in ambush rushed out of their place from Marageba. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel. And the battle was hard, but the Benjaminites did not know that disaster was close upon them. And the Lord defeated Benjamin before Israel, and the people of Israel destroyed 25,100 men of Benjamin that day. All these were men who drew the sword. So the people of Benjamin saw that they were defeated. Whoa, that was definitely a chunk to read from, but there is a big moral in this story. If you realize that a lot of men were destroyed. In the first it says 22,000 men of Israel and 18,000 men of Israel until they finally, came back. The context before this, there was about 46,000 men in Israel, or 46,000 men to go up against the Benjaminites, and there was 22,000 Benjaminites. So the Benjaminites actually took a toll on them before Israel actually got the second hand. But you see in this passage that no matter how many times Israel lost against the Benjaminites, they still kept their faith in the Lord. They did not turn away from the Lord. They did not turn their backs to the Lord. And most importantly, they did not curse God. They didn't curse the Lord because they kept on losing. Rather, they kept on pushing forward. And look at how many times God had told them to fight. In the end of verse 18, it says, and the Lord said, Judah shall go up first, right? And in the end of verse 23, it says, shall we again draw near to fight against our brothers, the people of Benjamin? And the Lord said, go up against them, right? And then in the end of verse 28, it says, and the Lord said, go up, for tomorrow I will give them into your hand. That was 3 times. Now, if you don't know, 3 is actually symbolic in the Bible. For instance, the 3 men that went to visit Abraham, one of them being the Lord, Jonah was in the belly of a fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Jesus Christ was 33 years old. And also Jesus was dead for 3 days and arose on the 3rd day. So yeah, 3 is very important in symbolism in the book. When you read through it, you'll start actually seeing the symbolism of it. It's beautiful. And then yet again, look at how faithful Israel was towards the Lord. Look, so it says in verse 23, and the people of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until the evening, right? They were weeping, they were sad, but they were still seeking the Lord, right? Now, in verse 26, it says, then all the people of Israel, the whole army went up and came to Bethel and wept. They sat there before the Lord and fasted that day until evening and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. They were so faithful, and without turning their backs against the Lord, instead, because they were defeated, they turned towards God. They didn't let that defeat discourage them. Remember in Joshua 1:9, it says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. See, the moral of that story is that no matter how many times the Israelites were defeated by the Benjaminites, they still kept their faith in God. They actually took that time. They took that defeat that they had as a chance to get closer to God, as a chance to keep their faith towards the Lord and grow stronger with Him, to keep seeking Him. So the message that I have for you is keep seeking the Lord. Sometimes you will have to lose in order to win. God is a God that hates sin. He cannot tolerate sin, but He does not hate the sinner. He does not hate us. So sometimes God will allow us to sin in order to teach us lessons. Not only is that God allowing our will, He's allowing us to have our free will if we choose to sin, but He's also allowing that choice of sin to be a chance for us to get closer to Him, to realize that we need no one but Him. We need to seek Him more than we realize. See, the thing is, the enemy will throw attacks at you. But seeking God during these times of trial, error, and tribulation is to know that you can't win the battle without God, because you need God to actually win those battles. So the moral of the story and the message that I have for you today is, during your times of great loss, sorrow, and defeat, keep seeking God. Do not curse Him and do not say, just as Job, I wish I wasn't born. I should have died in my mother's womb. Take it as a chance to grow closer to God, because think of it. He's letting He's allowing you to lose so He can show you that you need no one but Him. Do you really think that if the Israelites won the first time, that they wouldn't instantly turn away from God? God gave them defeat so that instead of them being filled with pride, they can go towards Him and seek Him. That's what He wanted them to do ultimately. And that was the beauty of it. That is my message for today. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a good day. Stay blessed.